Hello and welcome to Film Favs. I'm Justin Grohl. I am VTV's internal director and resident movie buff. Today I'm here with...
I'm Demetrius Schank. I'm a sophomore here at Villanova, and I'm a member of VTV.
Good. Nice to have you. So as usual, let's start off with a little bit of movie news. Start with box office. So Driveway Dolls came out this weekend and was nowhere near the top 5 this week, which was quite a shock, especially coming from a Coen brother. But at the top still, Bob Marley, followed by the new Demon Slayer movie, it seems.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that.
I know that it's just the last episode of the newest season, plus the first episode that would come out later this year.
Huh.
So it's not really a movie, but it's just like two 40-minute long episodes.
Well, it did very well.
Yeah, we got some weebs here in America. So.
Yep. Yeah, Madam Web's still hanging on in top 5.
I'm happy. That movie probably sucks so bad that it's gonna go down in history as like one of the best movies of all time.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now moving on to some brief movie news. Not much really happened this weekend, except for a few award shows leading up to the Oscars. First, and probably the one that most people knew happened, was the SAG Awards, Screen Actors Guild. And not many surprises this time around. Oppenheimer's cast, won a whole bunch. Yeah, the only big surprise, and I think the most important one going forward into Oscars, is Best Leading Actress. Because I feel like for most of this award season, Emma Stone's been kind of raking them all in.
Shipping it, yeah.
But at the same time, she's got Lily Gladstone from Killers of the Flower Moon coming up right behind her.
Yeah, I really want to see that, but just because of Emma Stone's craze, I need to see what's it called?
Poor Things?
Poor Things.
I don't know. It just Poor Things seems like a very original movie. So I feel like it depends on whether or not the Academy this time around is looking for more crazy or more restrained.
Which would be which? Poor Things being crazy?
Poor Things, of course, being crazy.
Okay, I don't know anything about the plot of that movie other than I just see a bunch of clips of the dinner scene between Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, it's probably one of the funniest movies of the year. I laughed a lot. And then, Killers of the Flower Moon, about a massacre that happened in history. So, not the most goofy movie.
It could be. It could be a little silly, goofy.
Yeah. So, and then also in Oscar news, they announced that Ryan Gosling will officially perform I'm Just Ken at the Oscars.
The world has won. The world is at peace. War has ended. There's no hunger in the world as long as we get Ryan Gosling singing. He's actually doing that?
I believe so.
I thought he was angry at the fact that Margot Robbie and all the the female members of Barbie didn't really get too much recognition.
I mean, he was, but at the same time,
I'm just Ken.
It's an iconic.
He's just Ken.
It's an iconic moment.
He's just Ken.
I don't know. I think it's not. It's not because it's not for his award that he's doing it.
Okay.
He's doing it because it's nominated for best song. That's what they do. They perform like best song. Like Encanto did their stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
But it didn't win. They did. We Don't Talk About Bruno, I believe. That didn't win.
It was very weird to see that live because it was like nobody
it.
knew these faces. They just knew the voices, and even doing it live is like a lot of strain on those voices that are just doing it for themselves in a voice box.
All right. So we got past the serious stuff. Let's get into the goofiness of your. Just kidding.
Perks of being a Wallflower, guys.
Yes, that is the movie that you chose. That was over Black Swan, A Silent Voice, Close, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yes.
So this is the one that we're talking about today. It's a 2012, I believe, movie.
I hope so.
I think 2012 is the movie. Is the year it came out. It was written, directed, and based on the book by Stephen Chbosky.
That's how you say his last name.
So yeah, he's the whole creative behind this whole thing. It stars Logan Lerman, Emma Stone. Paul Rudd. They
No
who
one
will
else.
not be named.
Nobody else. They scare me.
Yeah.
They might like come up and like punch us.
Yeah, this was a very stacked cast at the time, and still is, I would say.
Yeah.
Mae
Mae Whitman. How we forget Mae Whitman?
Oh yeah, Mae Whitman. And then who else is in it? There's one. Oh yeah, cousin Greg from Succession.
I need to see that too.
As Ponytail Derek in this movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, Nina Dobrev.
Some of you, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of you may know him from Minutemen, by the way.
Do you know where I know him from?
Sky High.
Yeah. Bro's the ultimate glow stick.
The ultimate glow stick. All right. Let's get into it. Why do you like this movie?
Okay, so of the 3 of the 5 movies
Three
on
of the
my
five.
list, on my list, yeah,
You had. Okay.
yeah, of those three of those movies, right? They have a sort of similar theme or structure where it's a coming of age movie with some really sad, traumatic stuff, and they have to live with it. Either that happens to them during the movie, or after the movie, or before the movie. And so Perks of Being a Wallflower is the one that I think embodies that the most. The other movies I'm talking about are
Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yes. As Close by A24. That I recommend you watch that too. And A Silent Voice,
Okay.
which is just an animated thing. So
All right.
yeah. So I chose this movie because it resonates with the inner like high schooler in me, where it's like, I don't know, it's such a great it's not a feel good movie, but it celebrates flaws in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I don't know, it shows you that there's more to life than what you see. So I think that's one of the reasons why I chose the movie.
So you say it's not a feel-good movie. I disagree.
Okay.
Because I believe that yes, throughout the whole movie, like a lot of terrible stuff happens. It's very like depressing at some points, but like there's always those glimmers of like hope. And then you get through all the darkness, and then when you get to the end, it's just so hopeful, and like it does make you feel very good in the end because you made it through all the crap with Charlie in the movie.
Yes. So yeah, I hate saying like feel good stuff and then it's like all the depressing things, but no, if you put it in the context, it's very feel good. It wouldn't. Those high moments wouldn't hit as hard if you didn't know all the that stuff. So,
and it's crazy also to think. I remember I did a brief project on this for my communications class on this movie, and in looking for scholarly articles, I kept running into the book, like stuff about the book.
Is it different?
There's quite a few things that are different. It gets a lot darker in the book.
Okay. I mean, I guess like does it go into more detail about some of the things, or just
there's some additional things.
Okay.
We'll not touch on that. Too dark of a topic.
Yeah.
Too touchy of a subject. I believe.
The plot of this movie. We can talk about the good plots, but like we can't really talk about.
We have to refrain a little bit.
Yeah.
From YouTube's watchful eye. Especially with like a main theme in this movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Please watch it though.
Yeah, I highly recommend. Like, this is a movie that I think everyone should watch, like no matter what the age is, because I feel like it just really connects to like people on a human level, and even if you don't connect with it, someone you know likely connects with it. Yeah, this movie's also on my top 5.
Okay.
By the way,
it's very valid.
It's hard to pin down the top 5, but like this is on there, I'd say, for me, just because like it's something I can watch infinitely. I know by heart.
Yeah.
And it's like I will always, I think, watch this movie and still feel the same way about it. Like even as I grow up, I'll still like have those like connections to it.
Yeah.
But this isn't my episode. This is your episode.
Okay. Yes. I mean, I completely agree with that. It's even when I rewatched it, I gave this is an excuse for me to rewatch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like I'm busy, but
yeah, busy.
Busy being a proactive member of VTV, but It was really good to see the movie again, and everything, like all the awkwardness, all the sadness, all like the feel good moments. They don't like it doesn't go away on a rewatch. It like that's something that this movie really does well. Is that like the emotional moments hit so well that like it feels like you're watching it for the first time every time.
And even there is like a plot, like not a plot twist, but a reveal at the end.
Yeah.
And like you don't know it the first time you watch it.
Yeah.
But then every subsequent rewatch, you have that in the back of your head, and it doesn't take away from it.
Yeah.
It only adds to the movie, I'd say, because it just recontextualizes everything. And so, I'd say anytime you watch the movie, it's different from the first time you watched it.
Yeah.
Obviously, like
unless you can somehow predict like the plot twist, which no one.
If you predict the plot twists. You need to be on some kind of as you commented under one of the videos. You need to be on a list if you predicted the twist.
Yeah.
Because that just means your mind's going somewhere,
going to some weird place, not some illegal places,
some dark places. But yeah. So let's start by getting into just some characters a little bit. You know.
Yes.
Would you say that you have a favorite character in this movie? And just in case, let's detach some actors.
Yeah. I'll try to see. I'm really bad at because there's so many big names in this movie. It at least like on rewatches, like I start seeing more of the actors than the characters because first time you watch it you're seeing characters, but now I can see actors more. But favorite character. Hands down, he's got to be Patrick.
Okay.
Patrick is so. He is just I don't know. He exudes confidence that I wish I had. But also he's. He can just connect with people so well, and that's something that the movie kind of touches on from Charlie's perspective is that he can see how he kind of becomes a punching bag of a lot of jokes just to make other people feel better or just to live the way he wants to live. So.
And I think what's also great about his character is that he's like the first person to be welcoming to Charlie at the high school, just because like they have shop together, and then they're at the football game, and then sure Charlie's the one that walks up to him, but Patrick is like, you want to sit with me, and like remembers his name. Like he's like the first one to show Charlie he sees him.
Yeah, the first one to notice him, which is something that really resonated with Charlie because he doesn't feel like anyone does. So,
but even though Patrick is very much a very extroverted, confident person, he still has his own problems, and he very much goes through a lot in this movie. This could have also been his movie. You could have put the spotlight on the main three. People.
Any of those because they I kind of wish that we had their perspectives as well because.
I disagree.
Really? Not in the same movie, but I would like to see in an alternate universe what what they were going what their minds went through because we see in Charlie's inner thoughts, and he is supposed to be the most introspective person in the whole movie. He sees other people better than I guess in his words he sees all the pain. And so I guess to see it from someone else's perspectives it would have been a little weird just because we're led to believe they're not as observant, but even then,
I mean, I think Charlie is the only person in this story who could have told it because everyone else I think is a bit more extroverted, and so in a way they'll be kind of carried up in their own stuff, but Charlie is very much the most wallflower of the wallflowers as they call themselves, which I'm gonna be honest, I disagree with the fact that they're wallflowers. They're not wallflowers. They're just the weird kids. Charlie's the wallflower. Charlie's the only one at the dance who was on the wall. Everyone else was doing their own thing. Everyone else had their own group. Charlie was the one throughout the movie who was just being an observer.
Yeah.
And that's a theme in the movie as well. He's very much an observer throughout this movie, and towards the end of it, he starts taking more initiative and action. And that's when the good things in his life start happening. Is when he starts to take control of it.
Yeah. Should we give the viewers an introduction to the movie because we haven't really said anything about what it's about?
We can. Yeah.
The main character is Charlie. He is going into his first year of high school, and due to some unfortunate circumstances, he's kind of a loner, and so he meets these two step siblings,
Yes.
Patrick and what's her name?
Why am I forgetting her name?
Yeah, see, it's hard with
Because
such
all
big
I know
names.
is just
Sam.
Sam.
Patrick
yes,
and Sam.
Because all that came to mind was Emma Stone.
Emma-
No, damn it! I did it again.
It's
Emma
okay.
Watson. Emma Watson. Damn it! I'm still stuck on Poor Things.
So yeah, we follow Charlie, who meets Patrick and Sam, and he lives high school. It was his 9th grade year. So yeah,
Paul Rudd's in this movie.
Paul Rudd.
Great character.
Love Paul Rudd. He plays very much what Robin Williams does in Dead Poet Society. So that type of character is also it's a very likable character.
Yeah, and I think what's great about it is that it's Paul Rudd, and Paul Rudd's a very likable person, but he's also a very goofy person when he like in most of his roles. I think he's very goofy.
Yeah.
He very much is not goofy in this movie, and I think I really like that. Like, it just shows a different side to him.
He still has this Paul Rudd charm to it, but it's not like he's trying to laugh everyone off, like laugh.
Yeah,
everyone to
he's just being very sincere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, Mr. Anderson is his character, Sam, and he has very limited time in this movie, but he makes the most of it with very few lines.
Yeah, I mean, he has one of the most important lines of the whole movie.
Yes, that gets repeated at the end as well.
And it's. Yeah, I love Mr. Anderson. I wish I had a Mr. Anderson in my life.
Yeah, Yeah.
'Cause,
I mean,
don't
we all? Paul Rudd. We all wish we had a Paul Rudd in our lives.
So true.
And by that I mean just clones of Paul Rudd.
I want to see a world where everyone has their own Paul Rudd. What
would this be humans? Would this be a regular sized Paul Rudd or a mini Paul Rudd that you keep in your pocket?
I feel like it would be like a child-sized Paul Rudd.
Child-sized.
So they're walking with you, and
so it's like him from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God! See, it exists in the movie world. See, some people have some bright minds.
Some people heard our prayers for a child-sized Paul Rudd, and made it possible.
They knew it before we even wanted it. That's great.
Now we've gone over your favorite character. My favorite. I'm just gonna
Yes.
say just Charlie.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I mean, not much to say there. He's the main character. We see the most of him. We see his thoughts. We hear his thoughts. I mean, it's an easy contender for favorite character.
Well, yeah. I also fall under the same thing where it's like I like main characters. I feel drawn towards them in every single movie and TV show and thing I watch or read, and so I didn't want to say Charlie just for that fact, but he's a very close second for me.
Yeah, I think part of it too is just like he's a main character who, again, like this is the theme of the movie. He's not the main character of his life.
Yeah,
I think
he watches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that kind of comes up at the end of the movie between Sam and Charlie, where it's like you can't just let other people live. Like
you can't let other people like live through you.
Yeah.
Or you can't live through other people. I feel like it was more along the lines of. It was more just the fact that like you can't let other people be the ones to tell you how to live your life, and like rely on that. I guess. It was the point of it. Yeah. Any least favorite characters?
Least favorite characters. It's hard to well. I mean, there's an obvious choice, but that's like not a character. I'll just say.
Okay, I think I know who.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to give anything away, but I'll say least favorite character of like the main cast. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is Craig considered the main cast?
I mean, I don't like Craig, obviously.
You don't like.
I mean, Craig's pretentious. He cheats on Sam. Stands in between Sam and Charlie. I wouldn't say that. I think Charlie stands in between Sam and Charlie.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a very ick character. I wouldn't call him main cast, but like,
okay.
Yeah, he could be a least favorite character.
Okay, so yeah, definitely Craig. If I had to choose someone that doesn't, yeah.
And then I think for me though,
is it who I had or no?
Who are you thinking?
The ant.
Well, I mean, obviously. But no. Other than that,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. God, I'm blanking on her name. What is Mae Whitman's character?
Mary Elizabeth.
I knew it was something like that.
I like her. I just don't like her and Charlie.
I don't like her, that whole arc. I despise, and well, let's just jump in the least favorite scene because I'm gonna do it right here. And it's not least favorite scene in terms of filmmaking and writing.
It's just like so.
I have to either watch through my fingers or leave the room.
I was watching it in the living room. Tommy was there.
I know.
He
Tommy
had to
told me
get
this.
up, leave. He was like, I can't. This scene is. That's how you know also that you're connecting with the characters so well.
Yes.
It's because when something like that happens and you can feel the awkwardness as if you're sitting there, it's just and like the cringe. It's.
When we watched this for movie night, I had to walk into the freaking sound room.
Yeah,
and like everyone else here
everyone
who had
was like,
never seen it, everyone was like, why are you leaving? And then the scene happened. They're like, ah!
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, the scene in question, I don't think we described it. It's Truth or Dare is what happens when Mary Elizabeth and, Charlie are still dating. Charlie doesn't like her anymore.
Yeah, Charlie
doesn't know how to break up with her because he's so freaking introverted.
Yeah.
And they play Truth or Dare, and he's told by, is it Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah, kiss the prettiest girl in the room.
Yeah.
He sits between Mary Elizabeth and Sam, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's just gonna kiss Mary."
With no hesitation.
No, with no hesitation, he turns and kisses Sam, and just,
like, like there's no reason to hate Charlie, but if
No.
there's any reason to hate Charlie,
it's
it's that scene.
But like, oh my god, like
That it was. I don't even like thinking about it. It's just like how does that happen? And that drives that drives the plot forward, but it doesn't feel like a plot device at all. It seems like something like Charlie.
It seems like something like that's another thing about this movie is that everyone feels like an actual person.
Yeah.
Like no one feels like a character. Like even Patrick, who seems like he's like, because he's so outgoing and like very much like, I guess what you would call comic relief based on like his jokes. Like he still feels like he's a real person with real problems.
Yeah. So if that's like the least favorite, that has to be the least favorite scene for anyone.
I would have to think so. Like, yeah.
Favorite scene though? Do you have a favorite scene?
I have many.
Okay.
Like many. Like there are obvious answers. Let's start with you because I gotta run through them.
Okay. I have two that I can think of off the top of my head. Of course, the tunnel scene.
Obviously,
is great. It's amazing.
It's the most iconic moment in this entire. I feel like
it's so cinematic, and that doesn't even it doesn't look. I mean, it is cinematic.
Wait, but which tunnel? Which tunnel scene?
I like both, but the one at the end is a very. I don't know. It represents growth within Charlie. Mm-hmm. So that's something that just hits harder as well. And then I also really like when Charlie stands up for Patrick in the cafeteria, because that's something that's it's like, whoa, like what
comes out of nowhere, and it starts to peel. What I like about that scene is it peels back the shell that he had, and then that's when he starts to unravel. Yeah,
it starts his spiral, but it's like it. And that's something too that like there's a lot of like tiny things that happen on rewatches that you notice that like start to really cause his spiral. Mm-hmm. Like just like key phrases and stuff. It's just, and you don't know it until you know like the plot twist, and it sucks that like all these like good intentioned things are like causing his downfall eventually. So
what I also like about the scene is the fact that it's not shown as heroic.
Yeah.
Like as much as like it was a very good thing that he did.
It was like he scared himself.
He was seen as like a monster.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, like because he unleashed on like 4 football players, and he's just a scrawny little kid. And literally, I'm not gonna curse. He just beat them up. You can do it.
I don't want to. I don't want to make work for you.
I don't bleep it out.
Oh, really? Okay.
You've watched these.
I watched them at 2 times speed.
Hey!
Look, he just beats the shit out of these 4 jock football players for his friend, and everything goes silent. Like you see, like there's genuine fear on like one jock's face as he gets up. and Charlie, I feel like he understood that, even though he didn't really remember what happened.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
favorite scenes though.
Other scenes I really like.
I'm gonna agree to anything you say.
I think probably like the best edited scene in this movie is the breakdown. Like that was what I did my project on, was that scene in particular, because like the editing in that scene is so good. Like the fact that there was like 4 Charlies walking down the road, showing his like dissociation.
Yeah.
The quick cuts and he's like banging his head on the door. Like I just thought it just like perfectly put you in that position of his anxiety and his depression in that moment.
Yeah.
I just thought like that was probably like, from a filmmaking standpoint, the best scene in the movie. But like emotionally and like watching it and getting the cozy feels, I really like I like 2 other scenes very much. The one is in the bedroom with Sam, and then they're just having their talk.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it might have been
Was it the Christmas one or was it the one before?
I like them both.
Okay.
I just like, I think that the environment in Sam's room, I think just helped add to it.
Yeah.
Because like that's when they kind of like were very like close and they revealed a lot about themselves. Sam
More
especially,
Sam,
Sam
but
especially
yeah.
revealing a lot about herself, which I thought was like a very like a good point in the movie, where it's like, oh, Charlie's grown this much with her, and the fact that she feels able to tell him this, I think is just very awesome.
So yeah.
Not the content.
But yeah, no, it's a very beautiful moment.
It is a
And
very beautiful moment.
Both of those scenes too. They're very beautiful moments.
And then the other one, it's another Sam and Charlie scene, but I think it was either Christmas or New Year's. I think it had to have been Christmas because they were not home at New Year's.
New Year's was
New Year's was
that his LSD trip?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, I think he was on LSD for both of them.
Oh, well, no, I thought he was on some brownies.
Well, he's on brownies in the first scene. In the first party.
Okay.
I don't know what he's on something in the scene, but it's when he's shoveling the snow in a circle.
Yeah, that's LSD. Or acid. I don't know.
He was on something, and he was shoveling the snow, and he's like, I gotta get it clear before it freezes over. Like I thought that was funny, but then it turns into a very tender and beautiful moment between him and Sam, where she puts the glasses on him.
Yeah.
And it tells him to look up at the sky and stuff, and like just kind of holds him.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a very beautiful. It was also, I also just really like how that was shot. Like this is a very well shot movie, and I just like the visual of the circle that he's standing in, looking up.
I gotta rewatch that scene because that is something. I mean, if I think about it, that scene probably hits really hard, but it's not something that comes off in my mind as like immediately like favorite scene. But that's because I'm more of like a general audience.
I've also watched this movie like a million
probably
times.
Seen it a lot more
so
than
like,
I have. Yeah.
I'm running through this whole like. And it's crazy that I'm saying I've watched this a million times and I can't name some of these characters because I call these characters. I'm like, oh, there's Emma Stone. Oh, there's Mae Whitman.
Emma Stone, I love her in this film.
Damn it, I did it again, didn't I?
You didn't even catch it.
No, I didn't.
It's
Emma
fine.
Watson.
No, we're gonna replace Emma Stone in the next video. Anytime there's Emma Watson in Percy being a Wallflower, we're gonna replace Emma Stone.
No.
Maybe she won't have such a crappy accent then.
What?
Emma Watson in the movie has some really bad accent.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I catch it slipping all the time. But I understand it was her first, like, it was one of her first things outside of the UK. So I'm not, like, going to hold it against her. She's also phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah.
But it can pull you out when she's this Olive Garden, like, so, like, focused and concentrated.
Huh.
Sorry.
I don't catch on that.
Don't.
I think I'm not looking for it.
That's true.
I think if you're not looking for it, you don't notice.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Emma Watson. Yeah, can you believe Emma Watson was Gwen Stacy in The Amazing? Wow. No. Okay. Moving on. Let's move on to the soundtrack. Very good soundtrack in this movie.
It's very well thought out too. I wish I was more of a music buff to actually remember all the names of the songs and.
I mean, I have them on my playlist, but you obviously had the Smiths was a big one.
I'm sure
Even though
they
the
were
Smiths
on.
didn't play that much, like
I know I'll recognize the song, but I'm not.
I
much
don't
of a
think
music
I don't
guy.
think this.
But again, it's just such a good soundtrack movie. Like if I could pick any movie to like just put on, like look up Spotify soundtrack, just play it, it would be that one. Especially if I'm feeling like, I don't know, feeling like living in the moment, because it's just that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then like I like the beginning song, like the simple guitar one. It's called. It's something about another change. Oh, it could be another change. Is what's called by the samples. I really like. I think that was the perfect song to open on, because it was just very quaint and very simple, and kind of just brought you into the cozy atmosphere of the world, of Pittsburgh.
is that where the movie's set?
It's set in Pittsburgh.
I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
Also, when is it set? Because I'm thinking more like 90s.
This is 90s.
Okay.
I believe. It's
Makes
definitely
sense.
not 80s. This is like
Yeah, it's not
mid
80s,
90s,
but
I'd say.
I wouldn't say any later than 2000s. But that seemed 2000s were a little bit more modern than what was shown in the movie.
Yeah. Soundtrack, great. And there's obviously the highlight, Heroes by David Bowie.
Yes.
The Tunnel song.
Did the author have that in mind when he wrote the book?
No, when he wrote the book, the song was Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay. I think Heroes was a good
He switched it to Heroes because he thought Heroes was more powerful on film.
Yeah.
So
that song though, that song was good on its own, but I think that the movie,
now it's immortalized.
Yeah, it's immortalized in this movie. That I wouldn't have listened to that song myself unless it was for this movie. But it's such a powerful song, and like I wish, again, I'm more of a person when I'm listening to music, to listen to the sounds of it rather than the lyrics. So I have no idea what the song's about.
The song is about two lovers during, I believe, the Berlin Wall times. I think
I need to like actually listen to the song.
it's not about that.
It's not, or it is?
It's about.
It is. Okay.
I remember reading something about that. I think that's what it is.
But yeah.
The song was also used in Jojo Rabbit. I know, but in a German lyric.
I don't remember too much about that movie.
Yeah.
It's just my fault though. It's a good movie. I know that.
This is a good movie. Yeah. So if you imagine you're in the tunnel, what is your tunnel song?
My tunnel song.
What is your tunnel song?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's not like super melancholic, because there's a lot of songs that I would like. They really resonate with me, but they're more like, they're not like as. They're more just, they hit close rather than like they're like super powerful.
Yeah.
I wish I had this off the top of my head. Do you have one? I'm gonna think of one in the meantime.
I have one that's like, I feel like very like basic.
Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. But last week we talked about the Beatles, and I'm just kind of picturing, the tunnel scene, and I think just a great song would be "Hey Jude," because in the end of the movie, when they leave the tunnel, that's when like Heroes really kicks in.
Yeah.
I feel like "Hey Jude" would be perfect. And once they leave the tunnel, that's when the na na na, like all that stuff happens. I feel like that would just feel so powerful.
Yeah, that's a good song. I don't think it's basic, but
I think anything I say that would be Beatles would be basic.
Okay. See, for the most like modern approach, I would say, but this is more of like an angry song, so it's like. Okay, for something that's melancholic, there's a song called "Soil of Scars" by, I think their name is Restless Anchor. I'm not too sure. It's not super powerful, but it's like Heroes, where it hits like really close to my heart. But for like a more modern approach that is more grungier, unfortunately, so it's not like Heroes, but for like "Happier Than You" or "Happier Than Ever" from Billie Eilish, it's not like a good like choice, but I feel like it's something that can make you feel really well. I need to think of stuff, because I know there's a lot of songs that I can think that I would rather prefer, but it's like something that I haven't thought of too much.
Yeah, I think another possibility. Scrubs has become one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah.
And that's another thing with like a banger soundtrack. But like
On my phone.
you lost your phone?
It just disappeared in the abyss of the couch. I love this.
Have you checked behind you?
I'm sorry. Wait. Where did it go? Oh my god. Wow.
Oh, it went all the way.
All the way in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
But there's a few melancholic songs that hit during that show, and I'd say one of them that's very underlooked. I think just like people don't know it unless they've seen the show. It's very slow. It doesn't have the same hit as Heroes, of course, but it's Winter by Joshua Radin, and it plays during like one of the saddest moments in the whole show. But like I that's one of the songs where it's just like I vibe with it, you know.
Yeah.
I can just go, I'm vibing.
It's a really
it's
hard for
just
you to
like
match.
it's the perfect song
Yeah.
for the moment. And I think that's part of what makes it so iconic is that you can't really imagine any other song in that position. Like I feel like in like some action scenes like throughout like Guardians of the Galaxy, another very soundtrack heavy movie.
My beloved
Like
Gamora.
as great as the soundtrack is, you could probably imagine some other songs fitting in.
Yeah.
As much as James Gunn like perfectly handpicked these songs, it's
So
also
like any like 80s music buff could
potentially like add in maybe another that could fit.
Yeah.
But like Heroes, it's like, do you want anything else?
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, my Heroes song, my tunnel song is Heroes.
yeah.
It would have to be Heroes.
It would have to be. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say. Oh, how did we miss over yet another iconic song from this movie? "Come On, Eileen," at the dance. Probably another important part in this movie.
Yeah.
Where he finally steps out of being a wallflower, a little bit more. I really like that scene. That's another one.
Yeah, and
because I also
props
like
for Logan Lerman as well. That scene, like you can, it's weird. You can see him like
thinking out methodically, like what am I doing?
Yeah, he's like unsure, and then like as soon as like Patrick and Sam like see he's there, it just clicks.
What I also really like about that scene is that Paul Rudd is just there for a frame.
Is he?
Like he's chaperoning, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, you can tell in the brief, like. It is not even like a second, I think. Like it is just they cut to him, they cut to Charlie. But like you can kind of see like he's looking on at everyone, including Charlie. And is like smiling.
Yeah.
And I like to think when I watch that scene like he's looking at Charlie.
Charlie, yeah, cuz of course he would be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Mr. Anderson spots something in Charlie very early on, and I feel like it's my headcanon that he stays at the end of the movie just for Charlie. Yeah, he stayed just for Charlie.
Oh.
Like not even because like he didn't want to be a writer, but because he's like I need to like mentor this student.
Like he realizes how important he is to this kid. Like I don't know, that's another thing about Howard. Like just he's so good in this movie. He's in this movie for maybe a total of 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And he makes such an impression. Like, oh my goodness.
Props to Paul Rudd.
I mean, yeah.
I wonder how did they cast this movie? Because like, did it have they get some pretty. I mean, it was just Emma Watson.
I mean, they who should
Paul
not be
Rudd.
named auditioned, and got it within 5 hours of auditioning.
Really?
Because they were that good.
They do really fit the role.
Emma Stone, I think, was reached out to.
Emma Stone.
Because, did I do it again?
Yeah. Can we please have a count meter for every time that you said Emma Stone instead of Emma Watson? Like I thought it was because we're talking about poor things at first, but I think they're just the same person in your mind.
They're not though. I can clearly picture one and the other.
Loved Emma Watson in La La Land.
I had to think about it for a second. But yeah, hold on. You know why? I had to think about it for a second because she was supposed to be in La La Land.
She was?
Emma Watson was supposed to be Emma Stone's character in La La Land. She dropped out last minute.
Good.
Emma
Stone would be better.
Emma Stone jumped in and won an Oscar.
Yeah. I don't think that Emma Watson would have fit that well.
No, especially not against Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are two people who are meant to be on screen together.
Rip Andrew Garfield, but
what was I saying? Emma Watson
yes.
was handpicked after Half-Blood Prince, Harry Potter and Half-Blood Prince,
Okay.
because Steven Chbosky, there was one scene that he said broke his heart, and that was when
no, that wasn't until Deathly
no,
Hallows.
it's when she's in the staircase after Ron gets like a girlfriend,
Yeah.
and like she kind of like gets real sad and upset and angry at Ron because like she's in love with him.
Yeah.
But like just watching that quiet moment, Steven Chbosky was like, she's perfect.
She's Sam.
She has the vulnerability. Like
Yeah. And then they got Paul Rudd. I know Mae Whitman was more of like a voice actress beforehand.
But yeah, I don't know. This is just a very well cast movie, adults and all.
Yeah.
Even just the small characters were cast well, which I thought was great. Let's get into just like a couple quotes from this movie. Is the last thing I think I want to talk about before moving into our final segment.
Okay.
Just because this is such a there's so many iconic quotes in this movie. You obviously have "We are infinite" at the end. Like, that was almost my high school yearbook quote.
We are infinite.
But I didn't want to be that corny.
Okay. So was it another Perks quote?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It was like a YOLO.
YOLO. Okay.
It was, the quote was, life's too short to last long, by Blink-182. And looking back on it, I'm like, what was I thinking?
I feel like if you did Life was infinite, or no,
We Are Infinite.
We Are Infinite. Why did I say Life is? Fake fan here.
Life is infinite, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, Emma Stone. That was intentional.
Yes, I hope so.
You obviously have "We're Infinite." You have why do people choose the wrong people to date?
It's because we accept the love we think we deserve.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
This is just a Paul Rudd gush session. This is all that this podcast has become.
That, I mean, it's corny because that's like one of the biggest quotes from the movie, but that's got to be one of my favorites.
It's also
it's so like expected, but like you don't like. I feel like everyone knows. Some part knows of that. Like knows that like we accept things that we think that we're worthy of, but it's like just to hear it out loud is just so eye-opening.
I think that just because it's just such real good advice. It's not like a movie trying to be like, it's the friends you made along the way. It's like legitimately like, it doesn't try and sugarcoat it. It isn't like, it doesn't blame the other person. It blames the person who accepts the love.
Yeah. And it's also so like, at least for Paul Rudd's delivery, it's just so, like,
Logan Lerman delivers it as well.
Well, yeah. And that is more of like a character growth moment for him, just because he becomes he's always been like the emotional like shoulder for a lot of these characters without really knowing it. I mean, they've also done the same for him. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, that's like towards the end of the movie where for Sam and Charlie's big, I guess, revelation with each other, right?
Yeah, well,
or is that during Christmas?
They both knew. Charlie didn't know that she knew. Like
okay.
Like Sam knew for the longest time that she liked him. Like for the longest time, but he never did anything about it.
Yeah.
So like she was kind of in a way waiting for him, because it's like, I'm not going to be the one to do that. He has to do
He has to do that, especially
like for
because
himself.
Because she doesn't want him to, live through other people, or like let other people make decisions for him as well. That's something that Sam really pushes for Charlie. But yeah.
And then, some other quotes. One, I can't say on camera for YouTube purposes because of their community guidelines. But I really love the scene at the beginning, the first party, where he's like, I really want a milkshake. And then she makes him a milkshake, and he starts talking about his friend. And then Sam's like, oh, what happened to him?
Yeah.
And then he just, without hesitating, without, like, getting sad over it either, he just blatantly tells her what happened to him. And just the look on his face and her face.
She was like, oh my God. And
like the switch, the immediate switch, and then follow that up with her walking up to Patrick, and you can audibly hear her whispering.
Yeah.
Like, telling him like, I don't think he has any friends.
Yeah. That's a really good quote. Or just like at least that's a very good scene.
It's not a great. I wouldn't say it's a great quote. I think it's just a great delivery and a great scene. Because
Yeah.
again, at this point, you don't know you don't know what's happening with
Yeah.
Charlie. But
One last thing though, I wanted to also bring up because this is something that's been on my mind. Because every time I see the movie, I like switch my opinion on it. Is he writing to his friend, or is he writing to imaginary people, and AKA the readers of whatever the freak he's writing?
I don't know.
Because I mean, if it's either way, I'm not sure if it was like a therapy thing to like for him that he was told to like write to his friend.
He it seemed that sounds right, but like in the way I think he's talking to us, like
Yeah.
the audience.
Yeah,
But the question becomes, who are we to him?
that's true. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not entirely certain. I could also see it as like a writing exercise from like therapy,
Yeah,
like the therapist.
because
being
that was my initial thing, that it was like a writing exercise he was doing. But then like when you know that he's like also trying to become a writer, it's like he's also
yeah.
you know, it could be written for.
I think the book makes it clear what it is, because I think they keep going like "dear friend" or something. Like they explicitly, the book is only the letters that he writes. Is all it is.
Yeah.
So, I think it's more clear in the book. I think the movie leaves it up to interpretation, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Because it lets us just live through them. It doesn't make it, oh, this happened. Like,
Yeah.
I'm narrating to you.
It's like, it's also, I guess it also leaves it open. And like, is he writing these as it goes on, or is he writing this in like everything already happened in past
It's
tense?
definitely, it's as it goes on.
Yeah, I feel like in the movie, sure, but maybe I guess in the book.
No,
it
because
could be-
oh, yeah. I
could
think it
be
is
different.
as it goes on, because there's revelations.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be hard this time around. We're gonna fan cast this VTV
Fancasting.
style.
I've thought so much about this.
I have not.
Okay.
Because, this movie tackles a lot.
Yeah. And so I really tried to be like, who would play this character well, not like who is this character. Because you can't really do that with this movie, especially because it's like then you're like talking about people's personalities
Of course.
and flaws,
Yeah.
and
And that's not what we're here for.
it's not what we're doing.
This is just VTV's Perky being Wallflower.
Yes.
Who's playing him? Let's start with Charlie.
Okay. For Charlie, I had two picks, right? From his recent acting in Magnet Night, I think that Carm could play the awkwardness of Charlie
Interesting.
very well. But also, the reason there were some other picks that came to mind for awkwardness, but like the fact that Charlie does get aggressive, and he does have like,
He doesn't get that aggressive.
but he not.
He's got the one scene.
He's got the one scene, but there's more to him than just awkwardness. You know, it's like, I don't know. So I think that Carm is a good pick, and then I also had you as
Me?
Charlie. Also, there's an element of being an absolute simp. So, not just you. I see that Carm is that as well. So you know,
Okay.
Carm can play that character well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have many picks for this movie because it is a very difficult movie. I feel like Josh could do pretty well.
Yeah,
Like Josh can play the quietness.
Yeah.
And like just the
more to
watchful,
him than this.
introverted side, I'd say.
so yeah, that's something that was one of my picks as well. But I just saw for that element of getting aggressive. I don't see Josh acting like that. I mean, he can. Not in
We
the
can
way
bring
that,
it out of him.
Yeah, that's
Bring
true.
it out of him.
That's true. That's
We'll
true.
get him angry.
Because he does get mad in Magnet Night as well. So
does,
that,
but yeah.
I stand corrected. So yeah, any of those are good picks. But I also with stuff that's in development, I can see you because you have a character in an unnamed series that we're not going to name that is hosted by Isabella, written by Isabella. That's also that plays that love type trope. Where
I was so confused for a
Yeah.
second. I was like, is there something I don't know about?
No.
Have I been cast in something I don't even know about yet? Yeah, moving on to Sam now. Emma Watson's character.
Yes, Emma Watson's character.
Um,
I thought a lot about this because I was trying to decide on who, but I think that Zoe could play a really good Sam.
mhm.
Because I can see Zoe, she can play that very uplifting character, but also like like very extroverted, but also like sort of maternal almost. Not maternal, but like not sorry, but she's caring for Charlie throughout the movie, but also has that like extroverted side.
Yeah, I think Hannah could do very well in this role. I see this very much being her in this context. I feel like with the very like the more cheerful side,
Yeah,
I'd say.
I definitely agree.
I think she could do very well there. I don't want to spend too much time on this
Okay.
one. This
Casting.
this casting.
Because it's very difficult to talk about.
It is very difficult.
Okay.
Next we got Patrick.
Yes. If I had to go someone within VTV,
Okay.
I feel like the only choice would be Connor to play that goofiness.
Yeah.
But
I have Connor for a different role.
just from what I've seen, I have a lot of repeats of Connor. But just from what I've seen,
Connor seems to be the most across all of our episodes so far. Connor seems to be the most versatile, because all of After Hours was just Connor.
Yeah.
Connor was every single character because it was Connor's biography.
that's but if I can pick someone outside of VTV that's kind of VTV adjacent, just from what I've seen from his Ridiculum shows, I feel like Noel. I met him once, but I feel like Noel could be a really good Patrick just because he has that he has Patrick's like flair. It's I feel like he can play him very well. And then I also said Owen, like our Steve Inc. Owen.
Oh.
So I had a lot of picks, but if I had to go someone like strictly within VTV, it's Connor.
Strictly than VTV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are all very fitting.
Yeah.
I don't have many thoughts on like casting this one. Like,
It's a hard one to cast. I had also spent a lot of time. The main, at least Sam and Charlie, not Sam, Sam and Patrick, I thought a lot about because I'm
Yeah.
like,
I feel like Sam was probably the easiest for me to think about.
really? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even think I gave a pick for Charlie.
Oh yeah. Wait, who's your Charlie?
I think my
Sorry.
Charlie would probably be Finn.
No, you said Josh.
Oh, I did say Josh.
Finn-
I think
Finn-
Finn could do
yeah.
very well though. I think both of them could do very well. Patrick. Who else is in this club?
It's a hard. Patrick is hard to cast.
Patrick is, and that's why I think that he was cast so quickly.
Yeah.
In real life,
when
because they found the
they
person.
found the person.
But
I don't know. I have seen Noel's Ridiculum shows a couple of times, and I feel like he can pull that.
Noel could be
character off.
interesting. I do think like he does have like the the cheerfulness. Yeah. Moving on. Let's go to Mary Elizabeth, which I have an easy one for.
Mary Elizabeth. Okay, the queen of sarcasm. Let's see who I have down for this.
I have mine already.
Is it who you think I have?
It probably is.
Okay. I mean, I have two picks, but there's
You
one
have two
other.
picks.
Do I? I think I do. Let's see. Yeah, I have two picks, but
All right,
first,
go with the non-obvious pick first.
the non-obvious pick. I went with Mia. I feel like Mia could play that character. Not that she acts like it.
I think this is where I put Zoe as my
Okay.
non-obvious pick. This is where I have Zoe.
Okay, but for my obvious pick, it's our beloved Gianna Abbas
I think
of VTV,
I think Gianna can do it very
comms
well.
director.
Yeah.
So yeah, she would kill that role.
Mhm. Yeah. Next, let's go to. We didn't talk about him much in this episode and all, but Brad. Brad is a very complicated character in this movie.
Yeah.
He, for those of you that don't know, because we didn't talk about him, he's Patrick's secret boyfriend, who's also the football player, the quarterback.
Yeah.
But also, his father's very devout, like Christian Catholic.
Yeah. Very.
So very much against,
Yeah.
the nature of their relationship. And then when his father does find out, like he turns on.
Yeah, and that's what starts the whole cafeteria thing. Is that Patrick is like kind of fed up with being. He's hurt that not Bob.
Brad is now
Brad,
just ignoring him.
Yeah, and so that sparks the whole scene. But for casting wise, this was something that I kind of had trouble with.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. But I think that who did I say? I think Jacob could play a Brad.
Jacob could do a very good Brad.
But But again, I do have a lot of repeats within my list. So I don't know. I'm looking for input though. I'm willing to be convinced for this.
I think this one could be Aiden.
Aiden? Okay.
I think Aiden. Yeah, next I have let's go with Candace.
Candace.
For this one, I have Isabella and I have Lexi in this role.
Yes.
I think both could do very well.
I have 3. I have Isabella, Lexi, and I have Katie. Just as like an
Katie.
unexpected pick.
Okay.
Because I'm like seeing that like, very protective older sister that also can play like the character that's like, when we're in school, we can't really talk to each other just because I'm preoccupied with this other thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, AKA Ponytail Derek.
Ponytail Derek.
Ponytail
Derek. Let's talk about Ponytail Derek.
He doesn't have much to work with, in my opinion.
But he makes such an impression.
He makes such an impression, yes. My pick, I actually want to hear your pick first.
My pick here. I think Carm could do very well here.
Carm? Okay.
And I also think Tommy would be hilarious in this
Tommy
role.
is one of my picks. I have Tommy as Ponytail Derek just because, he's picking up the plastic spork as the treasurer to Environmental Club. And Nina Dobrev's character has to be like, Derek, what are you doing?
I don't want to bring dishes back. We're part of the environmental club, Derek.
Yeah. And then I could see Josh delivering that line pretty well. Just like so like totally like innocently clueless of just like.
I mean, he's not completely innocent in this movie.
Well, yeah, I'm just that line, all right? Because there's really nothing else we can work with. I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess keeping in that stuff that happens later, then Tommy would be my pick.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, I don't see Josh being able to.
To bring out that stuff.
That stuff, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was mainly focused on the funny parts of Ponytail Derek.
Yeah, me too.
And then finally we have Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Where's it, Mr. Anderton? What?
I thought it was Mr. Anderson.
It's Mr. Anderson. Why do I know Anderton? Oh, that's
know
from
why you-
Minority Report.
Okay.
Mr. Anderton's Minority Report. But yeah, this one I have. This is where I save someone.
Okay. I went alumni here.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
No, that's not what I have.
Okay, I went with Pat.
You want Pat?
Yeah, I feel like Pat could play Mr. Anderson.
I think
pretty well.
Miguel at the alumni would be the one.
Miguel? Okay.
I think Miguel would probably fit more. But
Yeah,
they
no,
both-
I wish I could say I knew the alumni more. That's just because I was a little more, I don't know, closed off first semester or first year. So it's like I don't know. I'm again open, but I feel like I don't know. Just from what I've seen from Pat being like Earth Day hosts and stuff, I feel like he can play a teacher pretty well.
Yeah, this is where I save Connor.
Connor.
I think Connor number one.
He has Paul Rudd.
He's got the hair. He gives Paul
and
Rudd.
yeah.
But also, I think it fits what Paul Rudd was. A very goofy
Well, who d-
actor.
Yeah.
A very comedic person who was always like going for laughs. But also someone who I can very much see turning dramatic and just being very sincere.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a really there's so many Connor just
the most versatile
Connor should be in Hollywood.
Connor should.
If we keep casting him in these things, he's gonna get cast in something actual.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's I think it. Thank you for being on this week.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. All right. So next week will be spring break. However, we will still have an episode coming out because I am planning ahead. But yeah, we will have Andrew Klein on next week to talk about Mamma Mia, possibly Mamma Mia 2 as well.
A double feature?
Double feature.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, here we go again. Is the name of the second movie. All right. So thank you for coming along, and we hope to see you next time. Logo.